Northwestern University faces major staff cuts amid Trump funding freeze. In a shocking turn of events, Northwestern University has announced that it will be cutting 425 positions due to a massive $790 million federal funding freeze imposed by the Trump administration. This decision has left many staff members reeling, unsure of their future at the university. But here's where it gets even more controversial. The faculty wasn't even consulted before this drastic measure was taken. The university has stated that nearly half of the 425 positions were already vacant, leaving the exact number of layoffs unclear. One staffer who wished to remain anonymous expressed their shock and disbelief at the situation. They had been working at the university's Feinberg School of Medicine for 2 years and never expected such a sudden turn of events. University President Michael Schill revealed in an email that the school would be reducing its staffing budget by about 5%, which included Tuesday's layoffs. He also mentioned that personnel costs make up approximately 56% of the school's total annual expenditures. But is this enough to justify such drastic measures? Northwestern spokesperson Jon Yates defended the university's decision, stating that they were facing similar pressures as other institutions. He cited changes to employee health insurance, a hiring freeze, a 10% cut in non-personnel expenses, and foregoing annual pay raises as measures taken to address these pressures. However, many are still questioning whether these measures were truly necessary. Jacqueline Stevens, a professor of political science and the president of the Northwestern chapter of the American Association of University Professors, voiced her concerns about the lack of consultation with faculty before the decision was made. Schill's email also mentioned rapidly rising healthcare expenses, litigation, labor contracts, employee benefits, compliance requirements, constraints on enrolling international students, and reductions in research facilities and administration reimbursements as contributing factors to the university's financial struggles. But is it fair to place the blame solely on these external factors? Northwestern is hoping to restore its frozen federal research funding soon, as it was among a list of universities targeted for cuts by the Trump administration, along with Harvard, Columbia, and Cornell. Columbia has already agreed to pay more than $220 million to the federal government to restore its funding, while Harvard is currently in a legal battle to restore $2.6 billion in cuts. The staffer who lost their job expressed their sadness and frustration at the situation, stating that they were upset that important work at universities was being affected by the choices of a federal administration that doesn't understand its importance. So, what do you think? Is the Trump administration's funding freeze justified, or is it harming the future of education and research in the United States? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Northwestern University announces major staff layoffs amid financial pressures. Imagine the shock rippling through a prestigious campus when hundreds of dedicated employees suddenly face job loss. That's the harsh reality hitting Northwestern University right now, as they grapple with intense financial challenges that are forcing tough decisions. It's a stark reminder of how even top-tier institutions aren't immune to economic storms. And you might be wondering what led to this point and what it means for the future. The layoffs kicked off on Tuesday, with the university confirming that more than 200 staff members are being let go. This comes after what the university describes as some of the toughest months in its 174-year history, a period marked by relentless budget strains. To put it in perspective, think about how a family might tighten their belt during hard times. Northwestern has been doing something similar on a massive scale. Over the past few months, they've rolled out several cost-cutting strategies, like altering employee benefits to make them more affordable, putting a complete halt to new hires through a hiring freeze, slashing expenses that don't involve people, such as travel or supplies, and even skipping the usual annual pay increases that staff count on. But here's where it gets controversial. While these steps have helped trim some fat from the budget, they're not enough to close the gap. According to university spokesperson Jon Yates, personnel costs make up a whopping 56% of their total spending each year. That's like how your biggest monthly expense might be rent or groceries. And if it's that dominant, it's hard to ignore when savings are needed. So, despite the successes of those initial measures, the only way to balance the books was to reduce the workforce. In total, about 425 positions are being cut across various departments and schools, which will shave off roughly 5% from the staff-related budget. And this is the part most people miss. Nearly half of those positions were already empty, meaning the university is eliminating future job openings as well as some current roles, which might soften the blow but doesn't erase the hardship for those affected. The university isn't downplaying the emotional toll of all this. They call it a drastic measure that's causing real pain and uncertainty, not just for the individuals losing their jobs, but for the whole community. Yates emphasized that this decision was made with care and compassion, acknowledging the tight bonds within the university and their shared goal of advancing education and research. He noted that, as painful as it is, these cuts are aimed at securing the institution's future, ensuring it can keep fulfilling its mission of being a leading center for learning and innovation for years to come. Now, let's not shy away from the debate here. Is resorting to layoffs the best way for universities to handle financial crises? Or could there be more creative solutions, like seeking new revenue streams or rethinking operational models? And what about the broader impact on employees and students? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with this approach? Or do you think there's a better path forward? Jump into the comments and share your perspective. It could spark some eye-opening discussions. Northwestern University job cuts, federal funding freeze, and beyond. In a stunning move that has sent shockwaves through the academic community, Northwestern University revealed on Tuesday afternoon that it is axing approximately 425 staff positions, with half of these roles already being unoccupied. A university representative confirmed this startling announcement in a written statement, attributing the drastic cuts to the intensifying financial strains that jeopardize both the immediate and long-term fiscal health of the institution. The layoffs commenced early Tuesday morning, as verified by the spokesperson. The backdrop to this crisis is the potential loss of over $790 million in federal funding, which was frozen by the Trump administration earlier this year amid accusations of anti-Semitism. Interestingly, a recent Wall Street Journal report suggested that the White House views Columbia University's payment of a $200 million fine to unlock federal funds as a model for negotiations with other universities, including Northwestern. https://report-White House seeking payment from NU. Northwestern has stated that it is impossible to close the substantial budget shortfall, which constitutes more than 56% of the university's total budget. The layoffs and cuts unveiled on Tuesday represent around 5% of the budget allocated to staff, according to the university's official statement. This is an incredibly tough day for Northwestern, and we are executing these actions with both care and compassion, spokesperson Jon Yates conveyed in an email. Although profoundly distressing, today's workforce reduction is essential to ensure our university can continue its mission to be a world-renowned institution for teaching and research for future generations. Whispers of impending layoffs began circulating on social media Tuesday morning, with anecdotal reports of colleagues being let go. One Reddit user mentioned receiving meeting notifications from department heads the previous night. Northwestern has indicated that individual schools and units are handling the layoffs, and ball-affected staff members should receive notification within the next 48 hours. The university emphasized that these cuts, including the layoffs, are a response to more than just the freeze on federal research funding. Higher education is confronting immense and escalating challenges, university leaders remarked. Even if federal research funding is eventually restored, regardless of its form, it will not suffice to reverse the measures we are implementing now, Cranes reported on Tuesday. https://www.chicagobusiness.com/education/Northwestern faculty urge Michael Schill avoid Trump deal. Oh no, this made our hearts sing. Scene. Cranes reported on Tuesday. Michael Schill, avoid Trump deal. That faculty members at Northwestern are urging President Michael Schill to steer clear of any deal with the Trump administration. We implore Northwestern's leadership to stand firm against the administration's assault on fundamental democratic principles. By rejecting any deal with the administration, a news release cited by Cranes declared. Compliance with the administration's tactics would render Northwestern complicit in an attack on higher education institutions, which are a critical safeguard of civil society. But here's where it gets controversial. Should universities compromise their principles to secure vital funding? Or is there a better way to navigate these financial storms? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Matthew Eady, who reports on local government politics. And Housing for Evanston Now has also contributed to the New York Times, USA Today Network, Brookline.News, and several other publications. He hails from Cleveland. More by Matthew Eady. https://com, author Matthew Eady.